Guys, we finally got the carbs on with all the ducting in place, and it's in there for the final permanent time.
Are you sure about that?
Well, it's a new day, and well, the carbs are off. I said in the last video that I wouldn't have to take them off again, but I ended up needing to anyways. So let me explain what happened. The floats, I think, weren't working right because this kept leaking every time I filled it with gas, and it was only leaking out of this side. So I thought, it's gotta be the floats. It's gotta be something wrong with the floats, because it wasn't leaking right away. It was leaking after a few seconds, presumably after it filled up with gas. So I took them apart. I took out the old valves that go under the floats, and I replaced them with the old ones. And I filled it with gas this time on the side without putting it in, and it's holding. So I'm assuming it's all good. So I'm gonna put these back now. These are such a pain to put in, so let's make this quick. Oh, all right. We've got the carbs in. Rubber boots on both sides are secured. They're tightened. Now this time, yeah, I ain't gonna say it even. Like, what if I jinx myself? You know what? They're in there. They're in there. Now, moving on. I got 2 new spark plugs that are gonna go in. And I've got my big socket ratchet, whatever you want to call it, I forget. The spark plug size for a Ninja 500 is an 18 mil. These are kind of hard to find. I found this one at my Canadian Tire. They don't sell 18s in like separate though, like singles. I bought a bundle and got it in a pack of 4. But who knows, maybe I'll have more cars in the future and I'll use those sockets then. Alright, so to change the plugs, we got 2 plug wires, one right there and the other one right over here. They're very easy to see and identify. This one's kind of under, so I'm gonna show it on this one. So to take it off, you're just gonna put your fingers, maybe a screwdriver, and you're just gonna pull this off like that. Comes off really easily. Move it out of the way. You don't want to damage it, so be very careful. And now if we look down, let me get a flashlight, it's hard to see. Alright, got my flashlight. Now let's look down there. You can see the plug, and this is where you're gonna stick your socket. But before doing that, you wanna try and clean out all the dust, any debris that's in there, because when you open the plug, right under that hole is the cylinder, and you don't want that stuff falling in there and causing a mess. So while I was trying to take the spark plugs out, I realized that my socket was too thick. So if you're doing this, you need a 18 thin wall socket. But what I saw online is a lot of people said you can grind down the sides of it and that'll work. So I just grinded down the side a little bit, all the way around, and I just did it very carefully, because I'm scared. Like, what if it cracks? That's my concern. But I only did a little bit and it managed to fit. So now we're gonna try getting it on there, getting the old one out. Just gonna reach down into there, and you're gonna feel it slide on. Like that. Well, it's gonna take longer. I was already screwing at it for a while, but there is the old one. Look at that. It's very, very dark, very dirty. Yeah. Let me compare it to the new one. Look at the difference. Come on, focus on that. Well, you get the idea. The gap still looks good on the old one. These are supposed to be pre-gapped. The new ones are pre-gapped. Alright, so now we're going to put in the new plug. Put it onto the socket, and now we're going to slide it back into the spot. Now that it's in there and it's tight, but not too tight, because you don't want to strip the bolts, or the threads I mean, we're going to take the plug, the wire, slide it back into place, and I think you hear it kind of click on. Yeah, you'll know, you'll feel it go on. So now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So there we go, that's cylinder number 2. Also very dirty. Oh, sorry, it's out of frame. Let me get at. Yeah. So, let's pop in the new one. Now that I've done one side, the second side's going by really quickly. The rubber from my socket got stuck on the plug, which happens sometimes. I guess this is why people like magnetic spark plug sockets, but rubber still works. And that's why I needed the pliers to take it out. So now that that's in there, let's put back the plug, and that is done. So we've done spark plugs, we put the carbs back on. I need to connect the throttle cables again, which I wanted to do before putting them on because they're kind of hard to reach down there, but oh well, I just gotta figure it out. So after I put the cables on, I'm gonna try again to change the oil. If you saw the last video, I failed at it. It was cold, I couldn't get it to open. I still don't have the right size socket, but alright, I found my wrench, my adjustable wrench a while ago, and now I've lost it again, so I need to find that, and then we'll change the oil. Well, after so long, I got all the wires connected, or the cables I mean, cables connected to the throttle and the choke. These two are for the throttle, this one's the choke. I think I talked about it before, I'm missing the bracket for the choke, so I'm using zip ties. It works just fine. Watch me see when I pull this back. Ties moved. Let me show you again. Right there, that's the choke. So zip ties are working fine for now. Now going to close up the airbox. There's a bracket that sits on top. We're going to put that back. put seat back for now and attempt 2 at oil change. Yeah. One day we'll get to these wires, but not today. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. If you stayed this long, I am shocked. Comment down below, like, subscribe if you enjoyed, and see you in the next one.